A few years ago, millions of people trusted tech influencers. When they recommended an app, people downloaded it. When they reviewed a gadget, people didn't just watch, they trusted it. They clicked the link, and they bought it without hesitation. And when they said a product was safe, no one stopped to question it. No one looked deeper, because the trust had already been built, and the decision had already been made. But behind the clean studios, the expensive cameras, and the perfectly edited reviews, something else was quietly taking shape. An entire hidden economy, operating out of sight, deals happening in private messages, scripts written by sponsors, and money changing hands, all designed to influence what you see, what you trust, and ultimately, what you download. An economy built on fake reviews, carefully staged to look real, paid manipulation, designed to influence what you think is trustworthy, and sometimes apps that quietly operate in the background, collecting far more than they claim, tracking your behavior, your preferences, even your personal data, all without you ever realizing what you've agreed to. Today, entire networks of tech influencers are being exposed. This is the story of the fake tech influencer economy. Over the past decade, tech influencers have transformed from small creators into one of the most powerful forces on the internet. What started as simple reviews has evolved into a global system of influence, where a single video can shape opinions, drive massive downloads, and impact millions of purchasing decisions almost instantly. YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram turned ordinary creators into trusted authorities almost overnight. People no longer wait for traditional magazines or expert reviews to make decisions. Instead, they turn to familiar faces on their screens, creators they feel connected to, trusting their opinions, their recommendations, and often their judgment without a second thought. Instead, they trust creators who feel relatable. Creators who speak casually, share personal stories, and seem more like friends than experts. That sense of connection lowers skepticism and builds loyalty. So when a recommendation appears, it doesn't feel like advertising, it feels like advice. And that's why a single review today can generate millions of downloads within hours. This level of influence is incredibly valuable. And wherever influence exists, money quickly follows, and in this case, lots of money. App developers and tech companies recognized this shift early on. They saw how a single recommendation could drive massive traffic, and they understood that controlling attention meant controlling revenue at an entirely new scale. A single recommendation can generate massive revenue almost overnight, turning unknown apps into top downloads within hours. So companies began offering sponsorships to tap into that power. Some deals were small at first, a few $100s, maybe a free product, but others quickly grew into massive payouts, scaling into thousands, even tens of thousands, for a single mention. But eventually, something darker began to happen. Not every influencer was honest about these deals, and some products were fakes. Behind many tech reviews, there isn't just a creator sharing opinions. There's an entire industry built around sponsorship deals, contracts, agencies, and coordinated campaigns operating quietly in the background. What appears simple on the surface is often highly structured underneath. So to understand how this really works, we need to step inside the machine and see what's actually happening behind the scenes. Marketing agencies now act as powerful middlemen in this ecosystem. Their role is strategic and highly coordinated. Instead of working with one creator at a time, their objective is scale, reaching out to dozens, sometimes hundreds of influencers at once. The goal? To flood the platform with promotions, making a single app appear everywhere, all at the same time. The pitch is simple and highly effective. Promote this app in your next video. Tell your audience you use it every day. The messaging is straightforward, easy to follow, and designed to sound authentic. And in return, a massive paycheck, often far larger than typical ad revenue, making it incredibly difficult for many creators to say no. Sometimes the payment is $5,000, enough to make a small creator reconsider their standards. Sometimes it jumps to $20,000 for a single segment in one video. And for elite channels with massive audiences, the numbers climb even higher, reaching levels where one sponsorship can generate more income than months of regular content combined. Even $100,000 per campaign for a single wave of promotion. The scale of money involved is staggering, but here's where the problem begins to surface. Many of these influencers never actually use the apps they promote. They don't test them long-term, they don't verify the claims, they simply deliver the message and move on. The script is often written by the sponsor, carefully crafted to highlight specific benefits and avoid any real criticism. The creator simply reads it, delivering the lines with confidence and familiarity. To the viewer, it feels natural, like a genuine recommendation. But in reality, what they're watching isn't an honest review at all, but a controlled and pre-written message. But in reality, they're watching an advertisement disguised as a review, a carefully crafted illusion of trust. In some cases, things go even further than simple sponsorships. Some companies don't just pay influencers for exposure, they build entire ecosystems around promotion. Networks of creators, coordinated uploads, and synchronized messaging designed to amplify a single product. What looks like widespread popularity is often carefully engineered from the ground up. Fake review channels built to appear independent. Fake comparison videos designed to steer you toward a single choice. Even fake top 10 lists, structured to rank one product above all others. All of it forms part of a coordinated marketing bombardment, overwhelming the viewer with repetition until the promoted app begins to feel familiar and therefore trustworthy. Agencies coordinate dozens of creators to release videos at the exact same time, carefully aligning schedules for maximum impact. And almost overnight, the platform becomes saturated. Suddenly, YouTube is filled with the same claims, the same promises, and the same talking points, repeated across different voices, creating the illusion of widespread independent validation. Titles begin to appear everywhere. The best productivity app of 2025. The app that changed my life. The tool every entrepreneur needs. Each one crafted to trigger curiosity and urgency. Different creators, different styles, but the same core message. And as these titles multiply across your feed, they start to feel less like ads and more like undeniable truth. But many of these videos are not independent at all. They're part of the same coordinated campaign. The creators may not even know each other, working in isolation, unaware they're promoting the exact same product. But behind the scenes, the structure is identical. And in many cases, even the script is the same, repeated across multiple channels. To viewers, it looks like independent recommendations coming from different voices with different perspectives. It feels organic, even trustworthy. But behind the scenes, it's something entirely different. A carefully orchestrated promotion machine, structured, synchronized, and engineered to create the illusion of authenticity while guiding millions toward the same decision. Most sponsorships are for legitimate products, but not all of them. Recently, researchers found something alarming: dangerous apps. Apps heavily promoted by influencers were quietly collecting enormous amounts of data, far beyond what users expected. Not just basic usage, but detailed location tracking, browsing behavior, and even contact information stored on the device. All of it gathered silently in the background, often without clear disclosure, turning a simple download into something far more invasive. Even device identifiers and, in some cases, sensitive personal credentials were being accessed and transmitted. Information that can uniquely identify you and follow your activity across platforms. And what makes it even more concerning, some of these apps were promoted as privacy tools, promising protection, while quietly doing the exact opposite behind the scenes. Certain VPN apps and productivity tools, and even AI software, were found transmitting user data far beyond their stated purpose. Information wasn't just stored locally, it was being sent out, often to unknown servers in foreign countries. With little transparency, no clear accountability, and no way for users to verify where their data was actually going. Many influencers had no idea what was really happening behind the products they promoted. They simply trusted the companies that paid them, assuming the apps were safe and legitimate. But by the time concerns surfaced, the damage had already been done. Millions of downloads had already taken place, spreading these apps across countless devices worldwide. By that point, your personal data had already been collected, processed, and stored far beyond your control. And in many cases, it didn't stop there. That data was packaged, shared, and sold to third-party data brokers, turning your private information into a commodity traded quietly in the background for even more profit. Then there is the subscription trap. This is one of the most profitable parts of the fake tech economy. Here's how it works. An influencer promotes a free app, simple, useful, and completely harmless at first glance. Maybe it's a photo editor or an AI writing assistant promising to save time. The presentation feels genuine, the recommendation feels personal, and users download it almost immediately, trusting the convenience without stopping to question what might be happening underneath. But after a few days, something changes. A subscription notice quietly appears, $9.99 per week or $39 per month. It doesn't feel aggressive, it feels subtle, almost easy to ignore. But behind that small prompt is a system designed to convert users slowly, turning a simple download into an ongoing, recurring payment. The cancellation process is intentionally complicated, buried under layers of hidden menus and confusing settings. Buttons lead nowhere, links break, and options seem to disappear just when you need them. It's not an accident, it's design. The goal is simple: frustrate you, delay you, and eventually make you give up, so the payments continue without resistance. And the influencer who promoted the app? They're often tied directly to its success, earning a commission for every single sign-up that comes through their link. Every download, every subscription, it all adds up. And in many cases, every dollar you lose becomes a percentage they gain, creating a powerful incentive to keep the cycle going. What makes this so powerful is authenticity. Creators build personal relationships, they share their lives, opinions, and routines. So when they say, "I personally use this app every day," viewers believe them without hesitation. It sounds natural, familiar, and sincere. It doesn't feel like marketing, it feels like advice from someone you trust. Like a recommendation from a friend, someone who has already tested it for you and is simply sharing something helpful. But sometimes, that authenticity is carefully constructed. What feels spontaneous is often planned and segmented. Some influencers record sponsorship segments separately from the rest of the video, treating them as standalone ads. And once the camera stops rolling, they never open the app again, never integrate it into their routine, never actually use the product they just recommended. Even the enthusiasm is directed by marketing teams. Follow the script word for word. What looks honest is actually an engineered sales pitch. Recently, viewers have started noticing the pattern: the same apps in dozens of videos, the same scripts repeated across channels. Reddit and Twitter began investigating. Users compared segments, tracked agencies, and exposed coordinated promotion campaigns. The mask is slipping. Some influencers became transparent, others quietly removed their videos, but the economy hasn't disappeared. It's still growing, phase after phase. The next time you watch a tech review, ask yourself one question: is this an honest recommendation or part of the machine? Because in the modern internet, trust is the most valuable currency, and sometimes it's also the easiest one to fake. Be careful who you trust. Thanks for watching. People no longer wait for traditional tech magazines to review products. The era of slow journalism is over. Speed is king. Platforms turned ordinary creators into trusted authorities. They are the new gatekeepers of technology. Their word is gospel. Marketing agencies bridge the gap. They manage the narrative. They ensure every creator says the exact same thing in the exact same tone. The money flow is seamless, automated, invisible. From Silicon Valley startups directly to the creators' digital wallets. One click. The ecosystem is manufactured. It's not one review. It's a wall of noise, designed to drown out any dissenting opinions. Total dominance. Marketing agencies manufacture the hype. They don't just buy creators, they buy engagement. Fake comments, fake likes, fake downloads. Once you download, the door is open. The app doesn't just work for you, it works for them, harvesting every piece of your digital life. Your browsing data, your contacts, your private messages, sent to servers you'll never see, in jurisdictions where you have no rights. Subscription traps thrive on your forgetfulness. $9.99 a week becomes hundreds a year. Multiply that by millions of users. Enormous profits. And the influencer gets their cut. A referral fee, a kickback for every victim who falls for the trap. It's a partnership in deception. The authenticity is the product. It's the bait. A carefully constructed persona designed to bypass your critical thinking. They sell you trust. They record the sponsorship, then take off the mask. The product is never touched again. The recommendation was just a line in a script, professionally engineered. Reddit communities began the deep dive, comparing frame by frame, tracking the agencies, exposing the lies. The community fought back, hard. Some chose transparency, most chose silence. Videos were deleted, accounts were scrubbed, but the machinery is already on to the next app, still growing. The next time you download an app from a review, remember who paid for the recommendation. Your attention is the currency. Your privacy is the cost. Trust is the hardest thing to earn and the easiest to fake. Be careful out there. Thanks for watching. Final warning.